Good morning and a very warm welcome. You're watching the Breakfast Rundown on TV1. I'm Therunee Karunaratne. We're coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. President Therunee Karunaratne has expressed his gratitude to the Chinese government for constantly being with the Sri Lankan government right throughout the recent economic crisis, and these views were expressed during a meeting held yesterday at the parliamentary complex. This morning on the Breakfast Rundown, we have all the details on what exactly was expressed at this meeting and several other important local stories. As for news overseas, this morning we start off with tragic news coming in from India, as well as another international news item coming in from Syria. Stay tuned with us. We have all the news in detail. Let's move on to our top local story for this morning. President Therunee Karunaratne has expressed gratitude to the Chinese government for its support in debt restructuring and for providing financial assistance to Sri Lanka during the economic crisis. The president made this statement during a meeting with Kim Bo-young, vice chairwoman of the National Committee of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference, which took place at the parliamentary complex yesterday. Kim Bo-young emphasized the importance of further strengthening the long-standing relationship between China and Sri Lanka, with a focus on cooperation with the new government moving forward. President Therunee expressed his appreciation for China's aid during Sri Lanka's crisis situations, including the provision of school uniforms for children. The president also highlighted that continued Chinese support would be essential for Sri Lanka. He pointed out that the unfinished section of the Central Expressway, which is under Chinese involvement, also needs to be completed. He further expressed hopes of expediting projects related to the Colombo Port City and Hambantota district, as well as commencing institutional projects. In addition to initiating these projects, President Therunee Karunaratne also mentioned his intention to resume marine research activities, which had been stalled for several reasons, and emphasized the importance of moving forward with these initiatives. Kim Bo-young also shared expectations of providing better global access to Sri Lanka by establishing Chinese companies within the Hambantota investment zone. Furthermore, she confirmed that arrangements have been made for President Therunee upcoming visit to China. Meanwhile, the Chinese embassy to Sri Lanka has decided to distribute aid packages among people belonging to 2,000 families in the eastern province of Sri Lanka who are affected by heavy rainfall and adverse weather conditions. Governor of the Eastern Province, Professor Jayanthalal Ratnasekara, says that aid packages will be distributed promptly once received from the embassy. He adds that the distribution process will cover all 3 districts of the Eastern Province. Meanwhile, the governor also points out that instructions have been provided to relevant authorities to take steps to reduce natural disasters in the eastern province of Sri Lanka. He adds that special attention has been paid to the areas that have been submerged for many days due to water levels not receding. On to more local news for this morning. The Ministry of Education says that the program providing allowances for purchasing school books and supplies will not be limited just to the families receiving the Aswasuma welfare benefits. The Ministry's Secretary Nalaka Kalueva said that Cabinet approval has been granted to provide these allowances to children who are not receiving the Aswasuma welfare as well, but are also facing severe economic difficulties. He added that the process of selecting students from low-income families will be expedited in the coming days. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya, referencing data from the Department of Census and Statistics, highlighted that due to the economic crisis that prevailed in the country, 55% of school children are still facing negative impacts on their education. She also pointed out that children in rural and plantation areas have been affected the most. Among the affected children, 53.2% have completely stopped purchasing school supplies. Now, the main students' union of the University of Kelaniya staged a protest demanding the removal of VAT on educational supplies. The students marched from the university to the Colombo Kandy Road. They staged the protest for about an hour at that location and also called for a resolution of the university hostel issues. Let's take a look.
සිසුන් විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයේ සිට පාගමනින් කොළඹ නුවර මාර්ගයට පැමිණියා.
On to your weather update for this morning. The Met Department says that the low pressure area in the southwest Bay of Bengal is likely to move further northwestwards to the North Tamil Nadu and South Andhra Pradesh coast during the next 2 days. Naval and fishing communities engaging in activities over the Bay of Bengal are requested to be attentive to the future forecasts and bulletins issued by the Met Department in this regard. Several spells of showers will occur in the sea areas extending from Mana to Trincomalee via Kankasanture. Showers or thunder showers may occur at a few places in other sea areas around the island as well. Winds will be northwesterly or westerly in the sea areas around the island, and wind speed will be 25 to 35 kilometers per hour. Now, wind speeds can also increase up to 45 to 50 kilometers per hour at times in the sea areas of the coast extending from Kankasanture to Trincomalee via Mullatiu and from Gaur to Hambantota via Mathura. As for the state of sea areas of the coast extending from Kankasanture to Trincomalee via Mullatiu and from Gaur to Hambantota via Mathura can be fairly rough at times. The Met Department says that other sea areas around the island may be moderate. Temporary strong gusty winds and very rough seas can be expected during thunder showers. Let's move on to international news for this morning. Our first international news item is tragic news coming in from India. At least 13 people have died after an Indian naval speedboat lost control and hit a passenger ferry off the coast of Mumbai. The Maharashtra State Chief Minister said that 3 Navy personnel are among the dead, while more than 100 people have been rescued. Footage of the incident posted online shows the speedboat circling before smashing into the ferry, which later capsized. The Indian Navy said there had been an engine malfunction. The privately owned ferry was making its way to the Elephanta Caves, a popular tourist destination, when it was hit by the speedboat. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said, and I quote, "The boat mishap in Mumbai is saddening. Condolences to the bereaved families. I pray that the injured recovered soon," unquote. Let's take a look at the visuals from this unfortunate accident that was reported from India. 13 people died after this Indian naval speedboat lost control and hit a passenger ferry that was making its way to the Elephanta Caves, which is a popular tourist destination in India. Our second international news item is coming in from the Middle East. Analysts say that Russia is moving a large amount of military equipment in Syria, signaling preparations for a partial withdrawal. Satellite images reveal a buildup of military vehicles at a Russian-controlled port and airbase in western Syria. Transport aircraft also appear to have arrived and departed the country in recent days. The Institute for the Study of War suggests that this indicates preparations for a reduction or complete withdrawal of Russian forces. The Washington-based think tank added that moving military vehicles to its bases may be a precautionary measure while Moscow negotiates with the new government in Damascus. Russia had a significant military presence in Syria during Bashar al-Assad's rule, helping him stay in power after the outbreak of the civil war in 2011. However, the fall of the Assad regime had raised questions about Russia's future presence in Syria. Moscow is seeking to negotiate with this new regime. On Monday, Kremlin Press Secretary Dmitry Peskov said there have been no final decisions and that Russia was in contact with representatives of the forces that now control the situation in Syria. Recent footage also showed large columns of Russian vehicles on the move, indicating that they have been redirected from other Russian outposts across the country. Well, that's a wrap of this morning's edition of the Breakfast Rundown. I'm Therunee Karunaratne. I'll see you once again tomorrow right here on TV1 at 7 a.m. Until then, take care. Have a wonderful day ahead.